For the last episode in this season, I wanted to look ahead. Once all of our local small businesses and organisations have helped us prepare for Christmas and we've executed that fantastic Christmas day, what are they going to be up to? And what have they got coming for us in 2025? For many of us, the new year feels like a new start, so I also talked to some of our fantastic community organisations about how they can help us if we're thinking about doing things differently in 2025.
So it's Christmas Eve. You've done everything. All the wreaths are out the door. What does the next bit after Christmas look like for you?
It is my one proper chance throughout the whole year to really switch off. So I properly, take all that Christmas spirit, all that amazingness that I've just poured into, bits and birds and everyone's decorations and how gorgeous that is. And then I truly look forward to that real rest and time with family.
For many of our small businesses, Christmas is a time where they can take a proper break. Having had that sprint right up until Christmas Eve, they take time to rest and be with family, as Helen from Bits and Buds explains.
And I take a couple of weeks, basically. Take a good couple of weeks. January's always quiet. It's always, a pig of a month for retail and sales. So quite early on, actually, I decided very clearly, I was like, right, that's when I'm having my big holiday, my big break. So last year I went off to France, to Morzine, to see a friend. This year I'm just staying at home. But yeah, it's great. It's just a proper rest and recharge and then get ready to fly straight back in to Valentine's and Mother's Day and give that brain a break to get creative again.
And taking time for a break is a sentiment that is echoed by Sarah and Carrie at Happy Dashery.
As soon as that door kind of shuts on Christmas Eve, then it's just, I'm fully into family time. Just the run up to Christmas, especially with all the workshops that we're doing at the workshop and the ceramic painting and the different events. All of those end up, meaning that we've got very limited time available with family in the run up to Christmas. So as soon as those doors shut, that is when we then, Christmas time. This family time. And so we normally shut the shop on Christmas Eve and then we open it back up again normally just as the kids go back to school.
It's about spending time with the kids and the families, because obviously the run up to Christmas is manic, so we don't actually get to do all the bits you'd used to be able to do. We don't reopen the shop until early January because we don't also do the big sales like the bigger shops. So for us it's about just taking that time away, and actually I think most of our customers totally understand it because we're open so much before.
And once we move into January, everybody's business can look a little bit different at the start of the year.
Food and drink takes a hit in January.
Luke from 3 Counties Spirits lets us know how he tackled dry January last year.
Everyone's overdone it, especially booze, dry Jan. Last year I tried a campaign called Try Jan, so I did a different cocktail every day. Didn't do anything, but it was good fun.
So January does slow down. Obviously it's very different to December, but it just drops down a notch. It's not like suddenly no one comes in. Because I know dry January is a big thing.
Jonathan from the Bottle House also sees a change in habits during the first month of the year.
People not having money after Christmas is a big thing, but actually there's a whole portion of the world that isn't necessarily true of. They still want to have a beer. They might have less or they might buy less. But also we do a big range of alcohol-free stuff, and over the winter I do kombuchas. Don't know why particularly over the winter, but I think it started with January actually last year, and we sell loads of that sort of stuff and people still want to come out, but it does ease off. But then I just fill the gaps with I want to redecorate the whole place. And we got a couple of ideas about sorting the taps out a bit, things you just can't do in the rest of the year.
And what does it look like if January just kicks off the first half of your year and it's still go, go, go? Alice from Book is going to be pretty busy right up until at least May.
January can be a really busy month for us, and that's because people do give book tokens and gift vouchers. So we can actually find that those sort of first few weeks of Jan are actually pretty busy because people are coming in to buy those. We have consistent customers that will come in every single week, so there's never an option for us to close. I am going to have a big long sleep though, I think, after Christmas, because it'll be a kind of 7 days a week thing. Maybe February, March, things start to quieten down, but that's when we will start, the work that we're doing with local schools will kind of really ramp up. World Book Day happens in March, so as soon as we come out of Christmas, we go into wild time planning for that. In fact, I've just remembered we need to order our books for World Book Day at the end of this month, and World Book Day is in March. So, and it is, funny enough, it's called World Book Day, but it's more like World Book Day week, month, because it's a month's worth of activities. We'll be hosting some children's authors during that time, and also, fingers crossed, very excited, and I won't mention the name yet, but a very famous children's illustrator coming in to paint our windows, and hopefully we'll be hosting that as an event in line with World Book Day. We're going to continue running our Thursday lock-ins, which happen on the first Thursday of every month. We try and host authors here as often as possible. I'm currently working with the team over at Pan Macmillan to organise an event with Robin Ince. He'll be coming in here in May because he's got a new book out at the end of May. Early May, so he'll be coming in for one of those lock-ins around May, June. Watch this space, I'm just waiting for the date to be confirmed. He presents The Infinite Monkey Cage with Brian Cox on the radio, so everyone will probably be quite familiar. But he's excellent, and I'm really excited about his new book coming out. So there's a lot of planning for events in 2025. There's a big quest at the moment to really normalise reading with children that are a bit more reluctant readers, perhaps. So a big part of what we're doing is trying to introduce more people to the bookshop and to the different titles. I think when people come in, they're really surprised about just the variety of books that we have. Like the amount I mentioned before briefly, but graphic novels that are now moving into non-fiction spaces, and all of these wonderful things that you can find and discover in books. And I'm an absolute advocate for that. So I'm really excited about some of the plans we're putting in place with some local schools.
For many of us, the new year is a time when we're thinking about changing our habits. And Henny from The Refill, who talked to me on an earlier episode about having a greener Christmas, talks about how you might be able to take some of those changes into 2025.
If for New Year, one of my New Year's resolutions was something around, I suppose, being a bit greener or a bit more sustainable in like kind of everyday life, what tips would you give people that are looking to make those kind of changes?
I love that question because we get a lot of people that find us really intimidating as such a habit change of how to shop and be sustainable. And what I always say to people is just start with one small thing. Don't overdo it. Don't feel like you've got to have all the jars, but like start with your washing up bottle and commit to just refilling that when it's empty, and also adapting. So if you've got 2 washing up bottles, when you're using one, you can come and refill up the other one. And so that kind of just helps take the pressure off of that one. And then the second thing I'd always say is do it with friends, make it social, make it a little bit of a challenge. We've got a loyalty scheme in store, so that can be a good incentive if you're making it a challenge of how many points you can get. We'll be running a double points in January for any newbies, so that's a really good one to do. And then you can make it a bit more social. So if you want to come with a friend and you come and do your refills on like a particular day, we've now got tea and coffee in the shop as well, so you can kind of relax and enjoy getting that tea and coffee with your shop as well.
And if the new year is making you think about how you spend your time and how you might like to start volunteering in 2025, we have so many local community organisations that would be absolutely happy to have you, as Jade from Spectrum tells us.
If people wanted to get involved with Spectrum, what would that look like in 2025?
Oh my goodness. Well, do you know what? It's just a great opportunity to get involved with us with volunteering. Like the benefits, you've got things like it impacts your, in a really positive way, impacts your mental and your physical health. We have volunteers that like don't go to the gym on like the day, they're like, well, don't need to go to the gym this week because I've done Spectrum, or and everybody says that like they always leave feeling so much happier, like if they've had a stressful day at work or at college, and then they just leave feeling happier. So I feel like if you're kind of looking to add a little bit of that into your life in 2025, we can offer that at Spectrum. It's also great for, like, we provide lots of training. So in terms of like upskilling and learning new skills and getting new experiences, it's fantastic for that as well. As a volunteer, you don't need to have any experience working with people with disabilities. Like we provide the training to our volunteers. And also you don't have to have any experience in performing arts. Like we get that question quite a lot and we're like, no. Like we're using dance, drama and music as tools to help develop confidence and self-esteem. So like we're not training the next West End star, and also like nobody's looking at the volunteers in the room like going, oh, you can't dance, can you? Like it's not about that. They're so valuable because they're there to support the participants and the performers to engage in whatever it is that we're doing in that moment. Volunteering at Spectrum is a great way of doing it, and it's great fun. You get pom-poms and you get to have a lovely time as you do it.
Yeah.
And the different ways that people can get involved in volunteering, we've got everything from photographers who kind of give their time for different events, all the way through to people that are actually in the room and supporting us, and it might just be an hour a week, but that makes such a big impact for us.
Let's face it, so often when we talk about New Year's resolutions, what we're really talking about is health and fitness. We want to move better, and feel different in 2025. Well, good news. Leighton Buzzard is an active town, and I had a chat with Leighton Fun Runners about how they can help you out with exactly that.
So if I'd made a New Year's resolution maybe to get out, to run a bit more, like what sort of things would I be able to do if I came to LFR?
LFR is a group that's set up for every speed, whether you're the fastest person in Leighton Buzzard or the slowest. We have groups, social groups, we have training camps, we have interval sessions, and there's events for all speeds. And the community here is really inclusive. I was always a solo runner. I spent all my life running by myself. And then one day I was in Leighton Buzzard late at night and I just saw all these people in high vis and lights running down the high street. And I went, I'm going to give that a go. And after 2 weeks of talking about how great a club it is, my wife joined as well. And it's really changed how I've run. And I've learned to run faster by running slower and running more consistently. So it's been great for me and my running.
So looking into 2025, what sort of events does the running club have coming up?
We have events throughout the year. We have a breakfast run where everybody sets out down the canal at certain distances. We all run back and we end back at the clubhouse for breakfast. Then moving through to the summer, we have trail runs through Rushmere, Ashridge. We have barbecue runs. We have the Halloween run, which we just did now. That was a nighttime run through Halloween. We had a group of scarers and a group of runners. If you want to test yourself, we have races through the winter. We have cross country, which is a lot of fun if you like mud and snow and puddles.
And if you've never run before or you're coming back from injury, you can join their Couch to 5K to get yourself across the finish line for that first 5K goal. I popped down to meet Debbie, who runs the Couch to 5K programme, and chat to a couple of the recent cohort who've just completed it at their incredibly busy cake and 5K night recently.
So can you just start by explaining exactly what Couch to 5K is?
So Couch to 5K is a programme designed to get runners, or beginners I should say, from couch to get a 5K goal. At Leighton Fun Runners we try and keep it really inclusive, so we don't aim for a particular speed or a particular pace, we just want everybody to get to that 5K goal.
If I was interested in coming to Couch to 5K, is it running again in January?
It is, yeah. We've just announced the new date. We'll be starting on the 27th of January, so towards the end of the month. And if you sign up then, you'll be graduating at the beginning of April. So it's a 9-week programme that's led by myself and about 30 of our run leaders. So you'll always be supported throughout. There'll be lots of other people there in the same boat as you, whether you're completely new to running or a rehab runner or just want to improve, then there'll definitely be someone there to help you along.
Fantastic. And if I was thinking about doing it, but I'm a bit apprehensive, I know you've already said it's for complete beginners, what advice would you give people that have never run before and might want to take this on as a goal?
So I was that person. So 10 years ago, I did Couch to 5K as a complete newbie, never run before in my life, was terrified on the first night. But I came along, gave it a go, and I met some of my best friends. I've had a blast running with the club for the last 10 years, and now I'm the one running the programme, and it's been fantastic. And we see so many people come along who just pop along to give it a try, and then years later they're still here and they're still enjoying running. So I'd just say to anyone, just give it a go.
So if somebody was thinking about doing it from January, what advice would you give them?
Just to come and enjoy it and do it. Everyone is so friendly because you're really nervous when you first come. But as the weeks go on, when you first start and you're doing that first 90-second run, and then you get your homeworks and it seems like they're never, ever going to end. And then as it continues and continues, I've just thoroughly enjoyed it, but I made really lovely friends, yeah, and I'd love to join the club.
So if somebody's thinking, right, I'm thinking of running for the first time,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them?
So just turn up and scope it out for yourself, I think it's one of those things. Getting through the door is the hardest bit. Am I going to be able to run? Are people going to accept that I can't run fast? What happens if I don't finish? Doesn't matter. It's literally like, if you can get through the door and just come and see that actually people care and they're all right. I think that's the main thing. I think it's just to try it out. And if you don't like it, it's okay. But I think as soon as you're in the door and you see that everyone's nice and you can walk and run and you finish and you go, oh, that was all right. I think it's those things that I think really, really help.
I'm always commenting at what an active town Leighton Buzzard actually is. And if running is not your thing, then that's okay. Charlotte from Hunt Fitness explains it's about checking it out and finding your tribe so that you know that the habits you're changing are going to be ones that you'll change for good.
So if I was thinking about starting at the gym, but maybe I'm a bit apprehensive, or maybe I've got some preconceptions about what the gym could be like.
Yep.
Do you find that when people come to you, and how do you kind of get over that?
Yes. So people say that we are the gym for people that don't like gyms, and I'll take it. Because for us, we've got a sofa in our gym. So what we say to people if they're unsure is come down and meet us. And it's just about finding a place where you feel comfortable and a place where you feel like you feel safe and you feel like it's a friendly environment where you can thrive. And I think that is so important and integral to everything that we do. Our community are so supportive. So what we want to do with anyone that is considering, starting their health and fitness journey, what I would say to you is go to that location, go and see it, go and get a feel for it, see the types of people that train there, see if they're similar to you. And actually, if you feel comfortable and you feel like it could be a place that you would enjoy going, then that is your place, that's your vibe.
So I think for New Year, for a lot of people, means kind of New Year's resolutions.
New Year, new me. It's all about mindset first. Like for us, the New Year, new me is something that we see a lot, and we try and help people understand a little bit more that it's the same you. It's just if you're ready to create a different version of yourself. And actually for us, it's about building habits in your mindset, with your nutrition and with your training. So there's not a one quick fix or a short-term fix. We've got to always think long-term because we're thinking about a lifestyle change. And for anyone that wants to work with us, the initial commitment is for 90 days. And the main reason for that is not to tie people in, it's because it takes 90 days to build a habit. So for us, we have systems that we help people build habits that are positive for their life, for the long term. And I think that's the most important difference for us, is helping change people's mindset, build training into their daily life so they can see it as a benefit and it's not something that hinders them doing the things that they enjoy. It actually enhances it. And make better choices with their nutrition, or different choices that serve them better or serve their goals better.
It's often easy to see exercise as a chore or something that we need to get done. But what I was really struck by when I spoke to some of our local businesses about how they approach health and well-being was just how much of a community feel they're looking to bring into this space.
So I think for next year for us, it's to ensure that we are continuing to focus on our community, to continue to build on our community, to empower people to share the word of Reformer Pilates and all of its wonderful benefits.
Georgie from The Body Rule explains their approach.
The new year is all about just making sure our community feel empowered to listen to their bodies, to move better for the rest of the year.
So you've talked about the studio in terms of it being, an investment in your health in the long term. So what kinds of things does Reformer Pilates help with? If I was seeing certain things in my own health, what would Reformer help me with?
It's really keeping the joints and the skeletal system flexible, so that, when you are with your family at Christmas and playing games and things, that you can, bend down and touch your toes without pulling your hamstring, or all those small things, but they really matter. And the older we get, the more they matter. So, we really are trying to empower people to move as well as possible for as long as possible. It's about empowering you to be in touch and aligned with your body. And then there's the things that we do as instructors that I think are really important, which is all of those tiny corrections to make sure that people are moving their spines correctly, that we are rotating the spine, that we are flexing the spine side to side, we are moving the spine forward in flexion. It's very important, as well as extension.
Looking further out and at 2025 as a whole, what do our small local businesses have coming up for us? Well, To end the podcast, very much as we started it, Luke from Three Counties is not quite planning in advance the way he should be.
Do you have any plans for 2025, or is
No. And to be honest, it's something I'm trying to find some time to look at now. I actually just recently joined an accelerator program in NatWest in Milton Keynes, small businesses, and one of their big things is about your targets. Set your own target for the year and then break it down backwards. So it's something I'm working on. I'm trying to put a big focus on hospitality, get out there. But there's a lot of, brewery-linked pubs and stuff that I can't get to. But yeah, that's going to be my main focus for a bit. To be honest, I have a burning desire to open somewhere, like a cocktail bar. Ultimately, I want another restaurant with a cocktail bar. But it takes a lot of money and time, so we'll see what happens.
But let's be fair to Luke, if you've had a super busy year, then it is very difficult to be looking at the year ahead, as Sarah and Carrie from Happy Dashery explain.
looking into 2025, what does next year hold for you as a business?
I'm not sure we've actually considered next year. I think for us, it's about trying to make sure that we're progressing in the ways we want to within the workshop and building on what we've already set the foundations for.
I think we've done so much in the past year with opening up the workshop, actually us having time to actually be able to actually really develop it and grow it how we want to. I think it's really important.
And Luke isn't the only one who's got his eye on opening something new in 2025, as Jonathan from the Bottle House explains.
So we've got those sort of plans, and we're now looking to set up a second place. We're looking at some other towns where we might set up a second place, just because this one's going well.
Absolutely. So 2025 could be really onwards and upwards.
Yes, I think so. I've spoken to quite a few. This is how I always do things, whatever industry I'm in. I've kind of made some connections with other bottle shop owners, and one of the things they've said to me is having a second shop is a game changer, and that's where things start to get really interesting around your use of stock and how you swap kegs of beer around, and you have less of, you might buy a beer, so I buy in 24 cans, but you might only put 12 in each shop, so they sell out faster, or they sell less in one place and more than another. So it kind of gives you a lot of flexibility, and so I'm kind of excited about that, because it feels like you can do a bit more with it. So yeah.
And someone else who's ending this podcast series as they started it, Joe from Kings Road, has most of next year planned out already.
What does the future hold for Kings Road, maybe next year or beyond?
All our buying for next summer is already done, because we have to buy that far in advance. So we already know what some of the key looks and trends. We've got a little bit of a shake-up going on with our brand mix. So whenever we have new product coming in, new brands, working with new ideas, we always get really excited. So we have to sit on our hands a little bit and keep some of the surprises for nearer the time. Although most people don't mind looking forward to the summer season during winter, it's actually very, very much harder to do it the other way. People never really want to look forward to the winter season when you're in. A lot of people will already have booked holidays and things like that. We would like to build more on our community aspect, because we've been doing social events, and we're taking a group of people out to a new venue that's just opened in the town this week, actually, as we're recording this. So more of that, just building connection more and more and more, because I think that's what we love about what we do, and I think that's what people appreciate most about what we do.
Our small local businesses have big plans for 2025, and Henny from The Refill fills us in on hers.
I've got a lot of plans for 2025. A big project that we've been trying to get going is deliveries, so that people can order online, and then we'll give them a plastic-free delivery option locally. So I can't promise when that's going to be done, but I'm hoping in 2025. And then in 2025, we are going to be doing a lot more events in the shop. So we will be doing nutrition workshops. We've got the idea of a cookbook club, so people can come and cook up recipes together and share them. So it's pushing out online, and it's also creating even more of a community feeling inside the shop as well. That's kind of what we're really aiming for. Particularly with the talks, so we're thinking about women's health as well. So talks around supporting that, and things like supporting through menopause as well with your nutrition.
When our small businesses are dreaming big, what I love is that they know exactly why we come to them, and they are so ready to double down on that to make it even better for us, as Alessandro at The Cottage explains.
I suppose looking into 2025, do you have like particular plans for the business next year, or?
Very much so, especially for the garden. I'm really planning for the garden to be complete. We're gonna redo the floor, and we can use all year long, and make it Leighton Buzzard even better than what it is with this kind of outside. Because I'm the only garden in Leighton Buzzard as a restaurant. No other restaurant has a garden.
Yeah.
And with this beautiful structure, because it's the oldest building in town, I would really love to use what I have all year long, and even have more party outside in next year for Christmas time.
Yeah. Oh, that would be amazing. Christmas 2025 in the garden.
And next year we're gonna have a nice party outside.
I know that many of our small local businesses will be having business birthdays next year. Nick from the House of Coffee is thinking about expansion as a whole, though, not just celebrating another number.
You did just say the business has been here for 44 years. Does that mean you're celebrating 45? That feels like a nice arbitrary round number next year.
I'm my age now. I'm not looking into. I don't think in terms of years.
Okay.
I'm thinking in terms of the next period.
Okay.
Right. So we do have some big plans, because I would like to roll out a House of Coffee in every market town. Yeah. So there's a thought. The other thing is, e-commerce wise, that's I believe sincerely that we needed that to cope. And we've done a good job with that. We're looking at building a really serious subscriptions house, which is very popular in the coffee business. A new beast, to capture a larger market, because there's no reason why we can't.
Yeah,
and we're building a good team inside with new collaborators, if you like, in the business that would help roll it forward. So we've got high hopes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me, not just for this episode, but for this whole second season of the Leighton Buzzard Local podcast. Again, I was struck by the wonderful conversations I had with our local businesses and community organisations. We do have such a wonderful community in Leighton Buzzard, and our local businesses are such a big part of that. It's been wonderful to chat to them about how they help us prepare for Christmas. If this is the first episode of the podcast that you've listened to, then great news. You have the whole of the first season and the other episodes from season 2 to listen to as well. So make sure you check them out wherever you get your podcasts.